Hi, my name's MD. My pronouns are they, them, and I'm the Communications Manager at Equality Ohio. So what does that mean? What do I do? Well, I like to see myself as an eagle eye over the entire organization. I look at all of the teams. I work across teams, across the legal team, look to what they're doing on the ground and elevate their work across the state. I look to what our organizers are doing in the Northeast region, Southeast region, central regions of Ohio and beyond, and I elevate their work. I look to what field and advocacy are doing with policy across the state, what bills are being introduced that can either elevate or constrict LGBTQ rights. I do a little bit of everything. So I like to say part of what I do is taking what folks do on the ground in the organization and then lifting that into online, tangible, visual, and readable resources for you. So, I came to this work kind of in a non-traditional way. I left Ohio around 17 years old after being outed, and it felt like it was not a safe place for me. And so I left as soon as I could. And I became a traveling bartender across states. I've worked in over a dozen cities across the United States, from Boston to Seattle to Los Angeles, Oakland, Indianapolis, and more. What I learned to do effectively in the restaurant industry was talk to people. What I also learned was that the restaurant industry was full of people that were marginalized or oppressed, full of LGBTQ folks, BIPOC folks, full of inequity. And I started there. And it led me on a pathway back to obtaining my bachelor's and my master's degree in my 30s. And it led me into communications. I founded an organization called the LA Co-op Lab in Los Angeles. And I started to develop online communications with them. And then I moved forward working with radicalized nonprofits such as Alliance for Girls, Right to the City, The Body Positive. And it led me here to Equality Ohio. I do this work now, which has to be the most deeply personal work I've ever done, because it is in my home state. And I am now back in my home state with my wife and our 2 young children. And I am now living in a state that I grew up in and that I left after coming out. So it's work that's really near and dear to my heart. And I do this for my younger self. I feel like Equality Ohio is the organization that I needed as a child. And so I'm doing this to be of resource to other folks in the community where there was not a resource for me when I was growing up, or for my mother, for my family. So that's why I do what I do. Coming into communications work, it really depends. There are folks across the board. You can obtain a degree in communications, or you can do more of what I did, which is I got my start in organizing. And then I went into educational work, and I made this sort of non-traditional pathway into communications. So if you like to connect, especially from behind the scenes, and if you like to be an eagle eye over what's going on in an organization, communications could really be a path for you. So if you want to learn more about communications, I'm sure you can do your research. You can also reach out to me, md@equalityohio.org. Another part of why I do this work is because my younger self didn't want to leave Ohio. I wanted to stay with my friends and my family, and I wanted to feel accepted. I wanted to feel legally accepted, socially accepted, culturally accepted, and be part of a rich tapestry of diversity, which is what I think Ohio is trying to do. We have over a 70% approval rating for LGBTQ folks. So we must not be, misconstrued when we see laws hitting the state that are against us. I do this work so that younger me wouldn't have left. I did this work so younger folks now don't leave, so that we stay together. We enrich our state, our country, with the reality of diversity, the reality of the beauty in diversity, and we elevate that and we take part. Another part of when I came out and when I was, Equality Ohio didn't exist. Marriage equality wasn't legal. It was definitely a really hard time for LGBTQ equity, as is now, has been for the past recent history. So I think one more thing that, you know, I want to add is, you know, sometimes we feel like things are moving so slow, and sometimes we feel like, you know, with building LGBTQ rights and LGBTQ lived in legal equality, that it's molasses, that it goes so slow. But it doesn't. It takes one generation to change hearts and minds. And we're doing that fold by fold. And for me, since I have grown up, I've come to see marriage equality. I've come to see intersectionality come into the lens. I've come to see visibility shined on systemic racial injustice and systemic gender injustice and sexual orientation injustice. And I've seen these things come to the most visible light that they have done and that they have come to. And one of the, you know, other reasons that I'm in communications is because of that new visibility and that ability to showcase something across to, you know, a world of people that may not know that your issues exist, or may not know how or why to care about those issues, especially if they don't identify in that light. You know, in Ohio, we have about 3% out representation of LGBTQ folks. And that means that 97% of people are poised to become our allies. And so that is also another part of what I do with Equality Ohio. And you know, why I do it is because when I was growing up, I felt like, you know, it was very hard. You had to be either lesbian or gay. It was super binary, which is what I love about what young people are teaching us right now about the myriad of genders and orientations that we can be. I love that we're creating this language now. And so it is unfolding and it is vast and it is a lot to take in, because the reality is that all of nature is diverse, and diversity thrives. What doesn't thrive is singularity. And so I am just so excited to elevate that intersectionality and showcase, you know, what wasn't in the light when I was growing up.
Happy Pride, everyone. I'm Siobhan Boyd Nelson, she, her pronouns, from Equality, Ohio. For Pride Month, we are celebrating by uploading a new video to YouTube every weekday for the entire month. If you would like to support Equality Ohio, like, subscribe, or share this video. Or to support us directly, you can donate at equalityohio.org. Thanks, and happy Pride Month.